Let's get right into it. Number 10. Jargon Inflation. Ever notice how people make simple things sound complicated just to seem smart? Like when your boss says, "We need to leverage our synergistic capabilities to optimize core competencies." What they really mean is, let's work better together. Scientists found that people trust complicated explanations more than simple ones, even when both say the exact same thing. It's like dressing up instant ramen and calling it artisanal noodle cuisine. Companies are the worst at this. Instead of saying, "We lost money," they'll say, "We experienced temporary negative cash flow optimization." Instead of "We fired Bob," it's "We implemented strategic human capital restructuring." The craziest part is the more insecure someone feels about their expertise, the more likely they are to use fancy words. It's like wearing designer logos head to toe. The people who actually have money don't need to prove it. You can't even order coffee anymore without a dictionary. Now it's a venti, half-calf, oat milk, artisanal, handcrafted beverage experience. Translation: coffee with milk. So next time someone tells you to ideate outside the conventional cognitive framework, just remember they probably mean think differently, and they're probably just as confused as you are. Number 9. The Bikeshed Effect. A committee was building a nuclear power plant. Instead of discussing the complex safety systems that could prevent a meltdown, they spent most of their time arguing about what color to paint the bike shed outside. That's where this effect got its name. It happens because our brains love simple problems. Everyone can have an opinion about paint colors. But nuclear physics? That's scary and complicated. You see this everywhere. Schools spend months arguing about dress codes while test scores drop. Companies waste hours debating office coffee brands while their main product is failing. Governments argue about trash can placement while bridges literally collapse. It's like when you have a huge project due tomorrow, but instead of working on it, you spend 3 hours organizing your desk, because organizing feels productive, even though it's not helping with the actual problem. The hard stuff stays broken while we perfect the easy stuff that doesn't matter. Number 8. Complexity bias. People love making things harder than they need to be. Like when you're trying to lose weight, you could just eat less and move more. But instead, you buy special supplements, download 5 different apps, and create an elaborate meal plan that needs a PhD to understand. Scientists call this complexity bias, our weird love affair with doing things the hard way. They tested this by giving people 2 different medicines for headaches. One was just regular aspirin in a plain bottle. The other was the exact same aspirin, but with a fancy name and complicated instructions. People reported the complex medicine worked better, even though it was literally the same thing. Remember Occam's razor? The simplest solution is usually right? Well, our brains hate that guy. We'd rather have a 47-step morning routine than just wake up and brush our teeth. We think complicated must mean better. Like if it's not confusing, it's not working. Sometimes the dumbest solution is actually the smartest one. Number 7. Cognitive tunneling. Your brain can get stuck focusing on one thing so hard that you miss everything else. That's cognitive tunneling. When your brain gets stuck in a mental cave and ignores the obvious. Pilots have crashed perfectly good planes because they got fixated on one broken gauge. They're so focused on that one dial that they don't notice the mountain getting bigger in the windshield. All the other instruments are screaming danger, but they can't hear them. Scientists found this happens most when we're stressed or overwhelmed. Your brain picks one thing to focus on and treats everything else like it doesn't exist, like when you're lost while driving and keep taking the same wrong turn. Instead of stopping to check your phone, you keep driving in circles because you're sure you recognize that one tree. Meanwhile, there's a gas station right there where you could ask for directions. The craziest part is that even experts fall for this. Emergency responders can get so focused on helping someone with a minor injury that they miss the person behind them having a heart attack. The more pressure you're under, the narrower your tunnel gets. Your brain basically puts on blinders and says, "This is fine," while everything burns around you. Number 6. Form fatigue effect. Your brain literally gets tired filling out forms, not metaphorically tired, actually exhausted. It's like your brain is a phone battery, and each form field you fill out drains it a little more. By the end, you're running on 1% and just clicking whatever looks right. Companies think longer forms mean better data, but people get so tired they start making stuff up just to finish. By field 20, most people are just hitting random buttons like a toddler with a TV remote. Even judges suffer from this. Studies show they make harsher sentences right before lunch when their brains are fried, so your freedom might literally depend on whether the judge had their snack break. There was this office that made workers fill out detailed reports for every tiny accident. At first, everyone wrote perfect reports, but after a few weeks, People just started copy-pasting old reports and changing the dates, which means if you accidentally write pizza as your mother's maiden name, don't worry, it's not you being dumb. It's your brain going on strike. Number 5. The parking lot paradox. Something weird happens when parking lots change their layout. Scientists found that when they switch from diagonal to parallel spots, people lose their minds. Some people follow the new lines perfectly. Others turn into parking anarchists, leaving their cars at angles that would make a geometry teacher cry. Some folks will squeeze next to other cars even when the whole lot is empty. They think parking next to someone makes their car safer. Meanwhile, they're making it impossible for anyone to get in or out. And these rebels actually think they're being smart. They'll spend 10 minutes doing some weird, diagonal, parallel, hybrid park job. Meanwhile, there are empty spots right there that would take 30 seconds to pull into. Scientists say this tiny act of rebellion shows how we handle all rules in life. We'll take the long way home because that's our route. We'll wait in a longer line because this cashier knows us. We'll keep using the broken printer because that's how we've always done it. Some people would rather make life harder for everyone than follow a simple painted line. Number 4. Superstition in pigeons. Pigeons doing weird dances aren't just being weird. They think they're controlling the universe. A scientist named Skinner did this wild experiment back in the 1940s. He put pigeons in a box where food would drop randomly. The pigeons started doing whatever they were doing when the food appeared, thinking that's what made it come. If a pigeon happened to spin left when food dropped, it would keep spinning left forever. If it was bobbing its head, it would become a professional head bobber. The smarter the pigeon, the more elaborate its ritual became. Some birds would do entire choreographed routines just to get a single seed. Scientists found that the more random something is, the more likely we are to create these weird rituals, like when you wear your lucky socks to a job interview, or when athletes bounce the ball exactly 3 times before a free throw. The stock market is basically pigeons in expensive suits doing rain dances. At the end of the day, we're all just birds trying to control chaos with weird little dances. Number 3. The Einstellung Effect. Here's how your brain gets trapped by knowing too much. Scientists tested this with a water jug puzzle back in 1942. They gave people 3 jugs and asked them to measure specific amounts of water. After solving a few puzzles using a complicated method, people kept using that same method, even when a super simple solution was right there. It's like when you're trying to open a stubborn jar. You keep banging it on the counter and twisting until your hand hurts. Meanwhile, there's a jar opener in the drawer right next to you, but your brain is so locked into the bang and twist method that you don't even think to look. Chess masters fall for this too. They get so focused on their fancy strategies that they miss obvious winning moves. Their expertise becomes their blindfold. The craziest part? The smarter you are, the harder you fall for this trap. Your brain gets so proud of knowing the hard way that it refuses to see the easy way, like having a key to the front door but choosing to climb through the window because that's how you've always done it. Number 2. The Monty Hall problem. You're facing 3 doors. Behind one is a car. Behind the others are goats. You pick a door, hoping for the car. Then the host, who knows what's behind each door, opens one to show you a goat. Now you can either stick with your first pick or switch to the other closed door. Most people think it's now 50-50 either way, but they're dead wrong, and thousands of smart people have lost their minds over this. When you first picked, you had a 1 in 3 shot at the car. That means you probably picked a goat. There's a 2 in 3 chance you're wrong. When the host shows you the other goat, that 2 in 3 chance transfers to the remaining door. Even math professors couldn't believe this. They wrote angry letters to newspapers insisting it was wrong. Some needed to run computer simulations thousands of times to accept it. Switching doubles your odds from 33% to 66%. But most people stick with their first choice because admitting you're probably wrong feels worse than actually being wrong. Number 1. Mann Gulch Fire. 15 smoke jumpers parachuted into Mann Gulch in 1949, thinking it was just another grass fire. Within hours, it turned into a monster. The flames were moving faster than they could run. One firefighter, Wagner Dodge, did something that seemed insane. He stopped running, pulled out his matches, and lit the grass around him on fire. His team thought he'd completely lost it. They kept running with their heavy equipment, trying to escape uphill the traditional way. Meanwhile, Dodge lay down in the ashes of his own fire. He'd burned a safety zone where the main fire couldn't reach, because fire can't burn what's already burned. Only 2 other firefighters survived that day. The rest died clutching their tools, doing things exactly as they were trained, while the guy who broke every rule by fighting fire with fire walked away. Today, setting escape fires is standard firefighting practice, but it took 13 deaths for people to accept that sometimes the craziest solution is the only one that works. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.